So it's AI bomb call number 7. Today is November 25th, 2025. Yeah, next screen. So we have a sizable number of new folks who have joined the project itself, and I see a few of them on the call. So given we have a little bit of time today, so we can actually go over around the room and open it for folks joining in. I think what we should talk about is who you are, where you're coming from, and what is your affiliation with AI and affiliation with AI bomb, your interest. So I'll actually start with a dear friend Casey, since your name is up at the top.
Sure, turning on my video. So I know most everybody on the call, so it's not like you're gonna have to learn who I am from scratch. But so I am now CEO, co-founder of an AI cybersecurity startup, and it leverages bill of materials for vulnerability detection for 0 days. And my co-founder's in Amsterdam. And so before that, I was 15 years at Schneider Electric, where I was the many of the roles, Vice President of Supply Chain Security, and I'm author of the book, which I think all of you have a copy of. Sorry, the doesn't come in. Software Supply Chain Security with O'Reilly Media. So good to see everybody again. And hey, Raymond, I haven't seen you in a while, so good to see you and the work that you've been doing so far as the group.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Cassie. Welcome. Welcome to the group. Next up, again, a dear friend of mine. I've also met him in Washington, D.C. at OWASP. So, Alan, over to you.
I'm Alan. I'm backlit. I think I know a lot of you. SBOM is probably my fault. Uh, Sort of launched the effort at NTIA, wrote the minimum elements, moved to CISA, been working on that, coordinating with some of our government friends around the world. I'm now at the Institute for Security and Technology, launching a project on hardware bill of materials and doing some consulting work at the TPO group. So I'm excited to see how we can help coordinate all the different AI bomb work that's happening around the world.
Thank you, Alan. Thanks for joining. Next up, I know Jitendra, you are actually going through a incident in your company, but why don't you actually give like
Hey,
30 seconds?
thanks, Arunesh. Hey, hi everyone. First time on this call. Known Arunesh for a while now. It's pretty interesting to hear all the AI bomb updates from him. So here I am. I head product security, compliance, and privacy at Informatica, based out of Austin, Texas. And so, I mean, of course, SBOM and AI bomb. I also run AI governance at Informatica. So this is a initiative that we've sort of been working at Informatica also for a while. We have a fairly mature SBOM process in place, but AI bomb is something that we were starting off, and that's when Arunesh spoke to me about it, and hence my interest in this. And Arunesh, I have my teammate or ex-teammate Nikhil also on the call here. Nikhil, you want to go next?
Sure, Jatin, thank you. Uh, so I'm Nikhil. I am tech lead here at Omniva. It is one of the startup currently working in the AI space, giving out um, primarily data centers, specifically GPUs for the AI modeling and training. So here working in the security space and would be interested to learn more about Airbomb and its plugging into various security portfolios. So pretty excited for that. Thank you.
Welcome,
Back to you,
Jitendra, and
Arunesh.
welcome, Nikhil, on this.
Thanks,
I
Arunesh.
see few more folks. Martin, do you want to go next?
Good morning, everyone. Calling you from LA. Sorry about that technology. So I'm part of the OWASP LA board member, and I'm background cybersecurity. Over last year, I transitioned, from traditional cybersecurity to AI security. I'm interested to join this project because it's something that I feel like something to learn about the bills. From we know about the SBOM, but doing AI, that's pretty cool. So that's why I'm happy to join here and help, to contribute.
Welcome, Martin. And I see somebody I met in Washington, D.C. from the trials. Lovely, you want to go next?
Sure. Hi. Good morning, everyone. And thanks for the invitation. My name is Lovely Francis, and well, my last name is Domingo, but I just go by Lovely Francis. Currently, I'm a doctoral student that's affiliated with the University of Maryland. Trustworthy AI and Law and Society, which is an institute based in Maryland, but it has a lot of affiliations with Cornell, with George Washington University and Morgan State University here in the Maryland area. But so I'm currently a researcher, and what I'm interested in is community input, the human factors within the realm of security and how their experiences contribute to like broader governance through participation. And previously, I worked as a security compliance auditor for one of the consulting firms focusing on cybersecurity, mostly in the PCI DSS space and FedRAMP. And so I met Arunish at Global in DC at the AppSec, and I was really interested in participating here. So it's good to meet everyone here.
Welcome, Lovely. So I'm like really excited to actually looking at collaboration with the academia from your perspective. And also I met a couple of folks from CMU and other universities. So excited for that. Let's see. I see Amulya Saxena. I don't think so. You have attended the call before.
Yes, this is my first time. I was actually introduced to this by Anmol. He's on the call. He's a dear friend of mine. Anyways, I'm a data scientist at an edtech company in Chicago. I used to work as a researcher at Rochester Institute of Technology in the space of cybersecurity and data science. So nabbed up a few publications there. And I was really interested in understanding where is AI governance going. That is when Anmol was like, you know what, try out this group. So that's how I come from. Nice to meet you all.
Amulya, thank you. Thanks. Glad to actually have you on. And last one, I see Gal E as I'm not able to actually link it back to.
Hey everyone, nice to meet you all. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Great. So I am Gal. I'm from Sola Security. I'm leading the research here. It's a brand new startup company, a really exciting one, focusing on AI for security. Before that, I was leading the applied research within Accenture Labs, the cyber R&D labs in Tel Aviv. And I'm also in the last mile of my PhD around assessing the business impact of cybersecurity issues or risks, especially for AI transformation use cases, which brings me to the basis, which is AI bomb. And I'm also very interested in AI identity landscape, let's say, which is also bringing me to the basis, which is AI bomb. And this is why I'm here. Thank you for having me. And nice to meet you all.
Welcome, Gal. So I think we are like 12 minutes into the calls. So actually, let's anybody else that we might have missed who didn't get a chance to actually introduce if you're new.
Hi, my name is Scott Kennedy. I've been in information security for a couple of decades, we'll say. I'm involved with the Genetics Foundation, been joining with them for most of this year, as well as the artificial intelligence underwriting company. I'm more or less moved into a lot of leadership roles over the last few years, but in 2017 through 2020, I worked at IBM Watson. and and was a security architect for them, working to help secure Watson AI and the infrastructure underneath it. And like I said, since then I've been in leadership roles. I did work at Veracode as a senior principal solutions architect, and right after Watson AI. And it was during that era that I think SBOMs really started getting like top of mind for everyone. So I've actually been working on AI SBOM solution, and then I found out, okay, it's not SBOM for AI, it's bill of materials. So very excited to be here and be part of this journey with you all.
Scott, thanks for joining. Welcome. Okay, let's move to the next slide. So as we talked about, I think this is the agenda that we follow for the call, talking about the project roadmap, some updates from my end, definitely updates from all the work streams that we have, and any other business, any other impediments or ideas that people have that we have not already assumed or captured. So from a project growth perspective, I think the project itself is getting a decent amount of traction, and we expect this to actually grow as we build along this on this line. So one important aspect is from the number of companies and number of foundation which are kind of supporting is definitely going up. And I do expect this to actually ramp up as we look to build this particular project in collaboration with other companies, other participants, and universities. So from a project roadmap perspective, I think these dates have been published for some time, and based on the feedback and also the work that's happening in the work stream, these dates might shift a little bit. So don't take these dates as a rock solid delivery dates, but these are dates we are like expecting to actually meet. Uh, and I would have like a collaboration call sometime next week with all the workstream leads to talk about these dates and how realistic these dates are based on the work that's cut out for us. But definitely look at these dates and what is expected to be delivered as part of this the project. From a news perspective, I think one of the things that you might have noticed over the last 1 week, the new website was launched last week. We have a company in India itself, which actually graciously volunteered their hours and time, and also provide like hosting services for this WordPress site. So thanks to Promote Usability Designs is the name of the company. And again, the website was launched or improved with one thing in mind, right? How do we make sure like the information that we're producing is consumable by the industry, which has a modern outlook and modern features itself? The features and fixes and improvements will continue. It's not like a set in stone right now, but things are going to improve over a period of time. And if you have any specific feedback or ideas how this can be improved, there is a Google form that is there. So you can actually click on that, provide some feedback on this. And the more information that you can actually provide, how, if there are bug fixes or ideas, it will actually go a long way. From call to action, open items from last week, we had like a presentation on AI bomb and AI exchange at Washington DC last 2 weeks ago. We were looking for a volunteer for website development hosting. This is all done now, and the launch for the new website was done last week, so it's good. Yep. So these are all the work stream that we have. There are 11 work stream that we have, ranging from prerequisites, formats, tooling, sponsorship, uh, integrity and quality, policy, content, foundation, best practices. This is what we actually outlined when we started the project 2 months ago. And since then, there have been inputs from the community itself that we want to focus on 3 other areas. Let's move to the next slide.
Yeah, before we move to the work streams,
Sure.
just wanted to share a couple of housekeeping items because there are a lot of new people in the call. So I hope all of you are there in the Slack channel as well. And if you want to contribute to, so all these work streams have separate calls as well, and separate working structure. So if you are interested in any of these work streams, please reach out to the work stream lead in the Slack channel. So and they will add you to the particular work stream group, and you can start working there. If you cannot contribute actively, you can also we so the minutes of this meeting and minutes of a few of the workstream meetings are also posted online. We'll share that in the Slack as to where can you get that. The minutes of the our weekly bi-weekly meetings are there on the website now. So you can go through them or if you miss any meetings. And yeah, in case if you are not able to actively contribute, you can always go through the documents and just post your suggestions as well in the channel.
So the last three work streams that we actually stood up, one is focused on the alliances and collaboration, and we'll talk about some of the collaboration that we have been doing lately. Another is work stream which is focused on the promotion and engagement, and last but not the least, there is a new work stream that was added. It was recommended by Bakul, who I'm not sure is Bakul on the call. So we have a new work stream that has been stood up, and we would have Jatin who would actually give a view on this one. Okay, so we'll have like a workstream spotlight, but before we do that, I know Jatin, you have an incident at your company. Maybe if you want to go first for the thread intel, Anmol, if you want to go towards the.
Arunesh, I'll probably go in a few minutes. I'm gonna speak on the call now, maybe a little later on the call.
Okay, okay. So let's
Okay,
go to the front of the deck. Yeah, so UV, do you want to actually talk on this one and then provide an update?
Yes. Sure. Thanks, Arunish. I joined a few minutes late because of a proxy issue, but all sorted now. Talking about the work stream spotlight, we are talking about the foundational best practices and the operational guide work stream. The goal of the work stream is to have practical reference guides and also like best practices for different personas, different stakeholders in an AI organization, in a security organization, or a department in a multifaceted organization, right? So if they today go look for resources, of course, there are a couple of them, but the idea here is to now look at something that is actionable, something that is more practical, that they could take back and start seeing steps 1, 2, 3, 4, and then actually use that at work. This particular work stream will have strong connections. Just to give an example, with the tooling, content policy, and even prerequisites. So there will be either pointers coming out of this. So there could be a small paragraph talking about the tooling and the need for tools and the characteristic of an AI bill of material tooling system, and then the actual content of the tooling itself would be then in the tooling work stream. So there are going to be cross references coming in and out of this particular work stream, and it's going to be like a handbook that's going to sort of point to the different resources that we have. We have currently a small team. That's where I would move to the next slide, and where we are looking at. Could you? No. So, not sure why we don't see it. This particular slide has the deliverables that we are planning. This will be one of the first deliverables from the bill of material project itself, having the title itself would be a foundational best practices and an operational guide. Some of the upcoming deliverables, like very positively in the next year, is a playbook for cybersecurity practitioners. And then there we would also delve deep into the roles and responsibilities of what sort of data model exists and who are responsible from the source to the consumption till decommissioning of a specific resource in an AI lifecycle, right? And so this is again a call for more members who would be interested to build this best practices and operational guide, and also the whole working stream itself. Yes, that is. Yeah.
Yubi, this sounds fantastic. Can I ask what's the input? So like best practices, I think implies that there's a set of existing practices. Have you gone, where are you pulling the things that will go into the best practices from?
So you could think of this like a starter guide. Um, like if somebody's starting an AI bill of material practice today, this would be a reference that they would start and say, hey, these are some of the things that you need to have in place, like a guidance, and that's where I think that would be the first, let's say, a guidebook or a small handbook that somebody would look at, and from there they would look at, if they are more interested on, let's say, the tooling, then they would move on, looking into tooling in depth, looking into formats and schema in depth, and so on. But this is going to be an umbrella of things. It's going to talk about the life cycle of AI bill of materials. It's going to talk about what are the different phases, of course, the life cycle, the roles and responsibilities, the RASIC chart, who does what, who's accountable, and so on. And of course, what are some of the templates and what of the starter kits to start with. That's what it's going to talk about.
Cool. And sorry, do the templates and startup kits already exist? Or you're
No,
going to be building those?
Yeah, the first release
cool.
is going to be a like a initial guide, and that will come in the roadmap as well.
And I think I'll just, Alan, is your question like from a deliverable perspective and how we actually want to actually publish this out and get it
No.
started?
There's a lovely plan of deliverables. You've hit all the points. I'm still trying to catch up on what is the shared definition and existing work that we all can point to say, yes, this is what an AI bomb is. And so that's the part that I'm worried about, that we haven't done that work before we build all the deliverables. But if folks say, no, there's consensus across everyone who's looked at this problem, or most people who've looked at this problem, that's awesome. I've been tracking this area, I haven't seen that stuff yet.
Yeah, so one of the things is like anything that's happening, irrespective of the work stream, it needs to actually vetted and accepted by the community and different other areas, right? So it's not just being developed in isolation. Like everything that's going to be done, it's going to be shared within the community and also at the industry level. So the last thing that we want to say, okay, we deliver something and nobody's even using it.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah,
So
and maybe
I'll
just one comment.
Yeah, I mean,
Please.
probably a follow-up complementary question to Alan. So I was also trying to go through all the whatever material we have and the new website, and trying to understand when we say we want to deliver an AI bomb. I'm sure it's not going to be a static list. So now AI bomb is going to be an extremely dynamic, Vex driven, all of that put together. But yeah, I couldn't really catch the pulse also, that where is some place where we've defined actually that, okay, 6 months down the line, this is what we're going to deliver and this is how we'll get the industry to use it. Something like that in place will really help. While I was driving what I want to do in my work stream, if there is something like that, then it helps to map as to what am I doing into the final deliverable, and how that'll paint the end picture.
Yeah, I think like at the workstream level, at the workstream leadership level, I think we should align on this one to ensure there is a clarity and definite plan on this. Some of this is already there, but I think at a consumption level that I talked about, right? I think it's going to be important to talk about across the board, right? Including the timeline and the vision across the board. So I think maybe in mid of December, we should actually come together and then talk about this one, right?
Awesome. Okay.
Maybe that could be a topic for next week. And it's my question. I'll try to frame it as simply. Is there a resource that says what an AI bomb is, or what our conception of it is today? Does that exist today?
On a high level, yes, but not at a level that you might be saying, okay, this is the golden definition of that one, right? And again, the project itself is less than like 7 weeks old itself. So our intent is to actually define all those things as we build this one, right?
Can I make a small suggestion, which
Sure.
is that you really prioritize that piece and get maximum feedback and socialization, because I worry that you're getting partners and you're building out all the things that we're going to need once we have it. But if you ask those people to do the work without that, I think either they're going to be frustrated or they're going to move off in directions that may conflict. Uh, and um, and it will also be a very useful exercise for everyone as they think through the tasks they want to do to build that definition out. And it may be something that might be easy, but I think going through that process and condensing that down to a simple definition,
Hmm.
and and for those of you who were involved, right, this was the awkwardly named SBOM framing effort, which mapped to use cases and things like that. So I would recommend having that as a priority. That will help in all the other great efforts you've got queued up. And if it already exists, that's awesome.
I think let's do one thing. Let's try to actually get some time on the calendar, maybe like tomorrow or Friday, whenever you have some time. Let's go over that one, and we can actually align this and then make sure it gets delivered as we build this along. So I'll actually
Yeah,
ping
I
you
think
offline.
maybe if I can, yeah, maybe one comment that is exactly the first section of this guide. I mean, that's it's going to talk about what is AI bomb and why does it matter. And what you said is very true, Alan. I mean, we'll have to bring the definitions from multiple places and then also socialize to have a common alignment. And this might be the first time that that there is a bigger community who is sort of looking at a common sort of definition coming from the pre-existing work, but then now in a more matured manner. But that's exactly the first section that's going to be like, what is the AI bill of material? Why does it matter for an organization? That's where it's going to start.
And I think what makes AI bomb a lot more interesting and a lot more different from SBOM is that now typically now your AI models are not compiled, right? And so they're not compiled like code. They're basically taught. Therefore, AI bomb needs to capture a lot of different aspects or different dimensions compared to what an SBOM does. I think that's why it's very interesting.
So if I may ask a bit of an organizational question. So we've kind of had this discussion before, and I think I'm a little confused about whether what we're talking about here is in the foundational best practices and operational guide or the prerequisites work stream. And I'm kind of curious how you folks decide to split that up. The other one is I'll second Alan Friedman, Mr. SBOM's comment, and he of course led a bunch of discussion on this. Him and others on the understand, and not necessarily with everyone, but seeing what else is already done And if we're diverging, having a good reason for it, I think is very important. And the other comment I'd add is that apply AI bomb best practices assumes that you have more than one practice and there has been some agreement as to which one is best. And I think both of those prerequisites don't exist yet. So I would question whether we can even talk about AI bomb best practices right now, and versus guidance or whatever else. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. Thanks.
Yui, do you want to take this one or should I take it?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I got the complete suggestion because I think I lost in between as well. But two keywords that I heard, one is we need to converge as a whole on what statements are going in there. Second is the argument on if there exists more than one best practices and is there something that we could suggest out of this? I think that is what I think as a community that we need to brainstorm and work with each other to see what comes from different organizations, from multiple different expertise that we have as part of the community. And that's where I think in the end we will fight it out and have the among what we list down as some good practices, and we will evolve towards something that is best.
I think Raymond, I'll just add one more thing, right? I'm like very happy that you're aligned on this. I mean, you speak your mind and it actually helps the project grow. Uh, I think just to actually think out loud on this one, right? I think most of the work stream that we have, those are like complementary and overlapping by the intent and also by chance itself. Like if you talk about the prerequisites or maybe requirements, I think it has some link into the foundation best practices and also the other work stream that we talked about for the collaboration and alliances. Like one of the conversations that I had with one bank in New Zealand early this week is also on the same line, right? How do you actually bring different use cases, different ways of operating with different foundations? And then out of these, let's say there are like 10 different practices out there, right? How do you actually say, okay, out of these 10, these are like the few things that actually really work, right? And it's not just saying, okay, that you should try this and this. This is what we feel would actually work well for like an enterprise level, or it might work for a mid-market level, right? So again, like to your point, I think it's going to be a bunch of things working together and in collaborative fashion. Hope it addresses your question. Perfect.
Yep, sounds good. Just making sure the question sort of gets considered.
Yeah, I mean, if community feedback comes to this, I would actually ensure like we actually take it to heart and like really deliver, whether in a day's time or maybe in a week's time. So thanks for all this feedback. And Alan, thanks for actually raising this particular question. I truly appreciate this. Okay, back to you, UV.
Yeah, I think that was about the spotlight. Back to Anmol.
So maybe I will take over the presentation from the prerequisites workstream. So I think the current discussion has set in like a really right context about what we are doing at prerequisites. So in the last week, we were aligning close with the SPDX team on what they already did. So they have a lot of definitions already in place. So we were reviewing their minutes of the meeting, their documents, their GitHub repositories, and we are trying to also, there are really good use cases that are already defined in place. So what we are trying to do this week is to identify the gaps. So we have our own draft, and we're trying to identify the gaps and inconsistencies to have a much more harmonized definitions in place. So this is basically the work that we're planning to do this week. And we're also planning to join the SPDX calls to also understand their way of working. And I mean, it's all about collaboration, as you guys already discussed. So this is the focus right now because we already have a base draft already in place. So right now the idea is to basically aggregate the knowledge out across and basically make it more comprehensive and harmonized. Thank you.
So I think Venkata, just one question. So I know like we have around 4 weeks left for the year. Do you have like a roadmap defined, like specific deliverables for the next 3-4 weeks?
So I think the first deliverable would be to have this. We currently have already a draft from our side, which we did from our team, but our work stream. So we would like to have maybe by end of next week, or like to have a gap analysis done, and then we would like to have by like next 2 weeks a more comprehensive draft, which includes all the other components that is taken from different work streams or projects across OWASP. So I would say
Okay.
4 weeks, 4 weeks from now. Like that's a good timeline, I would say.
Okay, so I think like what we actually discussed, I think 2 weeks ago, maybe you should actually send it out for review for every other work stream to actually review it.
Mhm.
That way, I mean,
Sure,
like, it's more of a continuum, right?
definitely.
Perfect.
Anish.
Thank you. Anmol, anything from your side on this one, or can we move on?
No, yeah, we already discussed this. So yeah, Venkat has already yeah, given all the inputs. Okay. For formats, I think it's on hold for now. Yeah, UV, what do you want to say a bit about tooling?
A couple of points for the new members. The idea here is to, I mean, we were asking ourselves, does it make sense to have a tooling altogether? But as a community, we agree that most of the tools exist, but what is necessary is some sort of a plugin that helps to sort of validate the formats and schemas, or provides an add-on in a way that it complies with the underlying structure. So that's what is looked at as a long-term goal. But to start with, what we are looking at here is to have like a consolidation of open source tools that are there for AI BOM itself. So when I say AI BOM, multiple subcategories under them. It could be AI bill of materials, discovery, like to be able to discover AI specific assets from a given repository, given infrastructure, and so on. Tools that could provide model provenance once discovery is done, to look at vulnerability, like to do a vulnerability assessment, scanning models for backdoors, and so on. Recently, there are also uh, uh, tools in this direction for agentic, where they are looking at a repository, and it is possible to build a dependency graph so as to get a view of what are the components that are there within an agentic network. The idea here is to sort of have a first consolidation of such tools. I mean, of course, going ahead, there could be other tools for AI bill of material consumption, to generation of such a bill itself. Uh, to understand the characteristics of those tools, and which of them are, let's say, we are not evaluating, but sort of consolidating and looking at the characteristics of these tools. So that is something that has started, and that will be the sort of first thing that we will look at. But although the long-term goal would be more from a tooling perspective.
So from the content perspective, we had created a few YouTube shorts to educate people more on this project and what we are doing. But right now it's on hold for now. We're waiting for the sponsorship money to come through so that we can have subscription for the platform we are using for creating the shorts. Uh, and yeah, updates from last week. The new website is up, and it will be we will be incorporating all the feedback. So as of now, based on the previous meetings, we have the minutes of the meeting updated there, and also we have all the previous recordings also updated there. uh, yeah, Victor, you have a question?
Yeah, I just want to bring the attention to, I just posted one of the implementation of SPDX. So I know dependency graph is one way of using it. That's a way to basically dependency tree analysis. SPDX more have a multidimensional way of thinking. So it's not just one dimensional. And for that, it's not a tree. It's not a just dependency graph. So I know tooling, this is one implementation of it. So if you're interested in yeah, I think it's a different way of thinking. And that same thing, you can think of what MITRE ATT&CK is, how it's effective in strut modeling, the same way it's being done for SPDX. It's the graphs, not a tree.
Amulya,
that
you also have a question?
Yes, I had a question. When Yuvi said that it is a consolidation of AI tools, are we targeting a certain aspect of the entire AI pipeline? Like when I say pipeline, I mean like training, then evaluation, then deployment. Or are we targeting only models? Like what are we targeting?
Yeah, I think
Sorry, is it? I don't know if it's still about SPDX or not. Maybe it's not. But so at least from SPDX perspective, it's a whole list of multidimensional knowledge graphs. From data, model, hardware, software, service, pipeline cryptography. All of them are kind of interlinked in multidimensional way. It's not just a tree structure.
I think to answer your question, Amulya, I think it's a relevant thing, right? So it's not just focused on one particular like unidirectional, it's end to end, right? Like it's not just focused on the model, it's like anything and everything to with like deployment, how things are being used itself. And just I think today's call is fairly good in many respects, right? I would suggest like if you have specific questions or feedback on the and it kind of relates to a specific work stream, you should actually look at joining the work stream and really actually volunteer your time in that aspect itself, right?
Got it.
Ramesh,
I mean,
yeah, go on, Amulya, I'll go after you.
Oh no, that's it. It answers my question. I understand that we're in the very introductory stages of it, and having a good direction would really help the project. So I'll definitely look at the work streams.
Yeah, I think I had a similar response to your point, Arnesh. I think most of the work streams look like we're still developing the scope and the deliverables for most of the work streams. Now, for instance, I was just going through the tools work stream. So we seem to have a lot of validation utilities in place, but then there is an aspect of verification also. Like for instance, uh, now by the threat intel work streams, we would want to produce a list of, let's say, poisoned model hashes. But if the validator part of the tool section is not really verifying it too, so we'll have to plan it in a way that okay, you validate first and then you verify via the threat intel work stream as to if it's poisoned or not. So I think uh, those sort of workflows, and as you mentioned, the more we talk to different work streams, the more we work closely with them, we'll be able to define all of those workflows better then.
And just again, just piggybacking on what Jitendra you were talking about is the project is focused on piggybacking on the good work that's already happened in multiple foundation, whether it's PDX or Cyclone DX, right? It's building on top of it, right? Not reinventing the wheel or defining a new format or a new tool, right? There's already a lot of work that has already gone in, right? So it's actually building at the next level, right? So already.
I think we can skip this. Yes.
Anmol, I'm not sure if Binal is there. Do you want to cover this one?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Call that
yeah.
we had last week.
So, we finally had a first work stream call for policy, and we aligned on some things. We wanted to start small. So for now, we are just creating a list of 50 regulations that we want to track. And the goal of this work stream is basically to outreach to regulators and see how can we help them in shaping the policy, or how we can improve AI bomb literacy uh, in those sections. So yeah.
Again, we're bumping into some definitional problems. So, Anmol, I don't know, are you tracking the G7 work?
Not yet. But yeah, we'll look
So
into it.
it's yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
If I had my druthers, I would go and suggest that perhaps the Italian foreign ministry is not the best place to define AI bomb, but they are the G7 doing some work, so that would be a good place to because I think they may have some definitions that are going to be separate from what Jatinder suggested.
Mhm.
So I think one of the things that we, Anmol, if you can actually do the policy stuff that we talked about, if you can actually share that document with Alan. Alan, if let's actually sync up after this particular call, actually give you a call right after this. But if you can also review the regulation that we are kind of tracking. And again, we have like over 100 different regulations that might be there under the sun, right? And that list is expected to grow. So ensuring from your perspective, since you have like led this particular effort like for a very long time, having your view of the world is also going to be very extremely important and very key. Okay, let's Jitin, is that something you can actually touch up on now?
Hey, yes, actually, I think a lot of stuff that I wrote here is really high level now that I've understood more what the other work streams are doing. But then more or less at a very high level, and since I've done a lot of work on SBOM earlier, building our own SBOM sort of a solution. But the way I see AI bomb different from SBOM is that one of course is SBOM is pretty static now, with AI bomb extremely dynamic, probabilistic, and hence the AI bomb without intelligence becomes more like a SBOM. Then you're just scanning for stuff, you're just documenting. So the strategy with the whole threat intel workstream is to convert this list into more of a dynamic defense map. And I mean, I just named it AI bomb watchtower. So what we're trying to develop, what I thought was that we should, I mean, me and Nikhil were just discussing before the call that we should have probably a graph-based engine that overlays real-time context like data set, poisoning, model, reputation directly on top of the inventory. Now, it'll of course depend on whether we are going Cyclone DX, SPDX. I think all of that also will impact what we're trying to develop. But primarily, we aren't just trying to point towards a legacy CVE workflow. What we want to do is be able to pick up things that a traditional scanner will miss, and in real time then keep updating it. So to ensure that the AI bomb then works well for a defender, move from passive compliance to active defense. Um, at a high level, I think that's what we're trying to do. Now, like for instance, now if your AI model is vulnerable in a binary sense, it has a risk posture. A Llama 2 model might be safe in a sandbox, but then dangerous with internet access. So we want to build all of these contexts and graphs on top of whatever we are developing as an AI bomb. I think I want to understand that from the work streams first, especially from the tooling work stream, before we start defining the deliverables from the threat intel work stream. But I guess you do get the bigger picture of what we want to build there.
Yeah, and I definitely agree that this is very dynamic. That's why the data, for example, there's a lot of effort in OpenSSF as well, working with SPDX to capture end-to-end provenance attestations. For example, you need to know where the data is actually captured from the source, all the way to where it's being trained. Along the way, you want to make sure the model and the data are assigned. Whoever is responsible for creating data and making changes to the model, the data, and all the software, that multidimensional nature need to be captured. So it's definitely much more complicated than just software training, supply chain.
Agreed. Yeah, I know. Now, like for instance, I mean, I've worked more with Cyclone DX. So now Cyclone DX has an extension for threat context, risk score. So whatever we are developing as part of threat intel then has to link into that particular data set. So I think that's going to be a very crucial part of how we are delivering the inventory part of it, and then we can design how we are delivering the threat intel part of it on top of it.
Yeah, on top of that, we're actually working on automated threat modeling, basically using knowledge graphs such as MITRE ATT&CK, MITRE DEFEND, MITRE LS. Yeah, the reason you can do it is it's a knowledge graph.
Awesome. Hey, and AI Exchange is also building something similar, I thought. Right, Arunesh? I was just going through the AI Exchange deliverables. I think they're also building something which looks like a periodic table of AI risks. I think
you can actually export that in knowledge graph format such as this JSON-LD. Yeah.
I think that case we should connect sometime soon.
Yeah, I think Victor, if I'm not sure if you're on the Slack channel, but maybe Jitendra has like a specific workstream private channel. Maybe you should actually join that particular working group if you have the cycles.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah,
awesome.
and Jiten, just one thing, right? I mean, this looks very phenomenal over what you have put together. Do you have like a guidance on the timelines and stuff? Like maybe we can actually sync up offline on the timelines for this one. Like when you say like a phase one, what is the timeline, or rather like what is the realistic timeline for this particular work stream?
Arunesh, I'll connect with Nikhil and both of us will sync up with you probably in the next day or two.
Sure. Yeah. But this thing is phenomenal.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, from a collaboration perspective, I know we only have 6 minutes left, so I'll actually speed up. So from a collaboration perspective, there is a bank. Actually, there are two banks that we are working with. ASB Bank is one of those, based in New Zealand, and there's another bank in Australia. So we had a call with them, I think last Wednesday or maybe Thursday. So they're looking to actually collaborate at a deeper level. So they have a threat intel team. And in fact, like this might be something they can actually collaborate with us very closely. So collaborations and just one point. Go back to the previous slide. So I'm actually attending the Black Hat in the Middle East next week. So I'm looking for more collaboration efforts that's happening in that specific region also, right? So hopefully I'll have more updates coming back from that. Yeah. And these are like more of the collaboration intent, right? The collaboration with the industries, academia, and also from a cross-foundational engagement, right? From a sponsorship perspective, literally earlier today, I actually had a call with a company. I cannot share the name right now unless everything is legally signed. They're looking to actually come in as a sponsor. This might be a third one that we might be able to actually get in. And there is a big company which is looking to come in as a sponsor also, including four other like big fours, not big fours, Fortune 500 companies. So I think from a roadmap perspective, we are still looking to ensure we raise at least like a 50K by end of the year. We have a month left. And even if it's legal paperwork, even if the money doesn't get transferred, it's fine. But I'm looking to drive for a corporate sponsorship by end of the year of at least 50K. Yeah, let's go. So these are like some of the goals that we have and functional area that we are looking to spend. Outreach is one, operational, we talked about the website, standards participation and initiatives is another area of focus where the money might get spent. Let's go to the next. We have two levels of sponsorship. One is a gold sponsor, which is usually there for big companies, which are like a Fortune 1000 companies. And silver sponsor kind of resonates with young startups, which are like looking to get some traction in the space. All this information you can also find in the website itself in the sponsorship tab. Next slide. So for a call to action, again, this is not immediate stuff. Once we start publishing and putting together the material, the content itself, we would look at publishing the information in multiple languages, similar to what is happening in GenAI project as well. So again, not immediate stuff, but something to keep in mind. I think that should be it. Again, like there are a lot of talking points and a lot of action items from this particular call. I would actually follow up with few of you offline on this one. If there's anything else that we didn't discuss or talked about, let's actually open the floor. I think we have like a few new folks who actually joined. Hey Deba, hey Martin. Do you have any feedback or any ideas, initial thoughts?
Can you hear me,
Yes.
Ernest? Hi, good morning. I'm Deva. I'm a developer, come AI expert, and also work in cyber. And whatever the guys are doing, I joined a little bit late, so I apologize for that. But I heard the develop discussion you're doing and the formation of all the work stream is awesome, and happy to contribute more in the future. Thank you.
Deva, thank you. So maybe in the next call, I would have you do a formal introduction. 30
Sure.
seconds is not enough for you. Um, Martin, anything from your end? Any initial feedback?
Try give me a plan. Quiet place. Give me 1 second.
I'm not sure if I heard it correctly. Zoe, welcome. I didn't see you on the call initially, but welcome. Any initial thoughts from your end?
This all sounds like we're where we need to be headed. So thank you. And thank you for the introduction. I'm Zoe, by the way. Longtime member of OWASP and also co-founder of a few startups at the moment.
And I see Scott. I think Scott, this was your first call, right?
Yes, my first call.
Yeah. Any feedback, any ideas?
I agreed. Like I chimed in over just the Slack message. I do think defining the technology, defining what we're doing, so having strong definition seems like a core thing that we should be tackling. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, it was great to be here today. All good information, and then I'm going to be double clicking a little bit on the work streams to figure out maybe which one of these I can kind of jump in and help.
Awesome. And I think like last time we had met, I think there is this one suggestion. I think Raymond, maybe it was you or somebody else talked about maybe we should have a work stream specifically focused on the definition and taxonomy. And I was trying to see if we can actually club that within the content work stream. But what do you think like it makes sense to have like a work stream, short-lived work stream that we can actually define for taxonomy and definitions?
So at this point, I'm curious what your definition is for work stream, because we have more work streams than we have people at this point. I mean, there needs to. I really think there needs to be an effort to come to what definitions we are using in this project. They don't have to be the same as what anyone else is using, although if they're not, there better be a really good reason for it. Whether you call that a work stream, whether you call that an effort, whatever you want to call that, I don't think really matters, as long as we know where we look for a particular definition of something. So yeah, I mean, I can sort of link in with the effort. So I'm making the same push over on the SPDX side as well as many of the folks here will well know my outspoken opinions over there. But yeah, I really think that's important, and I think as Alan and others have also brought up on this call.
Yeah. However, the kickoff has started, I'm recommending using this shared menu early and often for those definition discussions, because otherwise we are going to end up in an awkward situation where two deliverables are addressing two different problems. So, for example, just in the chat, it's weird for me to imagine stochastic metadata. For me, metadata should be something that, even if it's not identically generated, because generated from a stochastic process, the data itself should be, a way of saying, yes, this captures a system's properties at this point in time. But other people may feel different.
Hmm. So I think it kind of merits have like a focused group on this one. And I think Raymond, to your earlier point, right? We have work streams, but I think one of my own aim is to actually bring in more and more people, more and more volunteers to ensure we deliver fast. And I think from a terminology perspective, I'll actually create like a subgroup which is going to be focused on this one. If the others who are going to be interested in this one, definitely join in. And one of the discussion that we were having last week internally was creating a list of definition and taxonomy, but also reference to what's the definition for other foundation, other companies, what they call it, right? So we kind of had an acceptance on this one that SPDX might call something else, or Cyclone DX might call something else, or the banking might call something XYZ. So I think it's going to be important to actually have a mapping, and then we say, okay, according to us, what we define this term as, right? So action taken on, captured on this one. Raymond, I'll likely reach out to you. Alan, I'll reach out to you as well. And if there are others who might be interested in this one, and maybe lovely Francis, maybe I'll likely loop you in from a academia perspective.
Happy to try and help.
Yeah, as always. Okay, sorry, we are over by like 4 minutes. Any other parting thoughts? If not, we'll speak in 2 weeks, which is gonna be I think December 8th or whatever is a Tuesday. Okay, this is good. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.